And as we come on the air, we are following breaking news headlines as it relates to the conflict in the Middle East. I want to give you a live look at this hour at a tent camp out in Gaza. We're learning from our content partners over at the Associated Press. At least 27 people have been reported killed in Israeli attacks across the central and southern Gaza Strip. They're calling it, quote, an especially bloody day. Now, this includes some Palestinians, a mother and her children, who were, quote, incinerated when their tent was bombed in Khan Younis. Residents and displaced Palestinians have been ordered by the Israeli military to immediately evacuate areas of northern Gaza ahead of an expected large-scale army operation. Well, joining us live this morning to further discuss this breaking news alert is national security expert with the University of New Haven, Ken Gray. Ken, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this breaking news.
Good morning, Janae. Glad to be back with you.
Glad to have you. Learning of this breaking news alert from the Associated Press, at least 27 people killed. They're calling this, quote, an especially bloody day. A lot of controversy surrounding this recent alert because it happened at a tent camp, an area where Palestinians were told they would be able to seek refuge from the Gaza war.
Sure. So this is a constantly evolving war, and the IDF is chasing after Hamas wherever Hamas hides. And Hamas successfully uses the Palestinian civilians as a human shield to try to stop the IDF from attacking their locations. Consequently, there are these terrible situations where Palestinian civilians find themselves between the IDF and Hamas and finds themselves coming under fire. This has been going on throughout the conflict there in the Gaza Strip. Right now, if you look at a map of the Gaza Strip, the fighting has moved from Rafah down at the south to central and northern Gaza Strip. So a lot of activity around the Gaza City, a lot of activity around Khan Younis. A lot of that is going on right now, despite the fact that the United States yesterday said that they are as close right now to coming up with a ceasefire solution as throughout this period. And so this activity here that is being directed may be really an attack to try to come up with Sinwar as opposed to coming up with this ceasefire agreement. But the activity is breaking out throughout central and northern Gaza Strip.
Ken, in reading that article, it literally gave me chills, and not in a good way, learning a mother and her children were, quote, incinerated. And if you try to just visualize that, just very scary to think you're in this tent camp, trying to get away from all the conflict. You're already evacuated from what's your normal, right? And then just a bomb to just land on it. They say they were incinerated. It just shows this full scale war that you've been saying from the very beginning.
Yes, absolutely. Additionally, the water is somewhat restricted there in the Gaza Strip. Consequently, when a fire does break out, that fire is able to spread from tent to tent to tent. And so it's very hard to get it under control without a proper equipment to do so. And during this war zone, they don't have fire trucks to come in and put out a blaze. So, if the death was due to missile landing on that tent, that's one thing. If it was due to fires breaking out due to the missile strike, then that's another thing entirely. I say missile strike, it may have been artillery, it may have been mortar rounds. I'm not sure exactly what set this blaze to start with.
Absolutely. And as we discussed, missile strikes and evacuations as a part of this recent attack, the Israeli military now telling those who are sheltered in northern Gaza to evacuate for another army invasion. And it seems like every time there's an army invasion, we're told, OK, this is the last one. You don't have to move again. But that doesn't seem to be the case, because I feel like we've had maybe 4 or 5 since that last one, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a result of the fact that the IDF is not clearing an area and holding it. They don't have the manpower to do that. So instead, they clear an area, they move to another area to try to root out Hamas there. And in the meantime, Hamas members managed to trickle back into that area that had been cleared and was supposed to be free of Hamas. So they're playing, as I pointed out before, whack-a-mole. They clear an area, knock down the Hamas members, and then they pop up elsewhere. This is just a mistake in their tactics, but it's a result of the fact that IDF does not have sufficient manpower to be able to clear and hold.
I'm glad you said that because I remember at one point the reservists were having to come in, right, to help with the fighting. And I'm glad you bring that up, Ken, because we know this is not the only conflict going on. We know the Gaza war kind of spearheaded it, if you will, even though there was already tension before October 7th. But with all of the other conflicts going on, Iran, the Yemen Houthi rebels, do they have enough manpower to come out successfully, if you want to call it successful, with all of the blood that's been shed?
So the IDF relies heavily upon reservists to be able to augment their forces. They have a citizen soldier type process inside Israel. And so, because of that, we're in the 10th month. People who have been fighting throughout this period of time have been taken away from their businesses, have been taken away from their jobs. And now they're looking at the potential for a new front to break out, a war with Hezbollah to the north, which will be a different type of war. It'll be a much more boots on the ground and airstrikes into Lebanon. And that, if that kicks off, that promises to extend this period even further. So the IDF will find itself really strapped, and the Israeli economy will really feel the effects of it also. So no, the IDF does not have the manpower to be able to have done a 10-month-long conflict here in the Gaza Strip and then kick off a whole new war with Hezbollah there in southern Lebanon. This is an awful lot to bite off here. I'm not sure the IDF will be able to chew this properly.
Yeah, and that makes you wonder if that post war plan, a lot of pressure on Netanyahu, right, for that post war plan from the Gaza war. It makes you wonder if that's even necessary at this point, considering if the Gaza war was to stop, you still have the conflict with Hezbollah that's rising. So would it even matter since people on the Israeli side will still be affected?
Yeah, absolutely. So Nasrallah has promised, who is the General Secretary of Hezbollah, has promised to punish Israel for their assassination of Fuad Shukr, the military commander that was underneath Nasrallah. And so we have seen drone attacks. We have seen missile attacks come from Hezbollah, but they said that they have not yet kicked off their major attack yet. They have not punished Israel for that. Additionally, you have Iran promising they're going to attack Israel for their assassination of Hania there, the Hamas political leader that was in Tehran for the inauguration of their new president in Iran. And so that attack is going to occur potentially today or tomorrow. If not later on. Last April, in April, when they attacked before, it was a week from the time of the attack to the time of their response. Likewise, it's now been the assassination was on Wednesday of last week, so we are now at just over a week. So you can expect this to occur, if it's going to occur, within hours to within the next day or so, if their previous attack is any indication. A lot of pressure being brought on Iran not to carry out this attack. A lot of pressure being brought on Hezbollah not to carry out their attack. Of the two, I think Hezbollah is the one that is more itching to get this fight underway because they have launched a couple of attacks already. They've done drone attacks. They've done missile attacks. 50 missiles were fired 5 days ago. Drone attacks yesterday that injured a number of Israelis, and so this is in the offing. Both countries have issued notice to airmen not to come into the area because of the possibility of involving conflicts. We are in the early stages now of a potential response by both Hezbollah and by Iran.
Ken Gray, I always appreciate your candidness and your expertise on these topics. Thank you so much for joining us bright and early here on Live Now from Fox. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.